So Ayushi is on YouTube right now, and she says, can you guys help me with a budget honeymoon itinerary? My budget is around 6,534 New Zealand dollars. Very precise. I like it. We have 20 days in April, and we like adventure sports. All right, so I'm guessing 6,534 New Zealand dollars is what you have on top of car rentals and on top of your flights, because that's gonna only covers like activities and accommodation, I'm guessing. So we'll basically go for the fact that you already paid for your flight and you did rent a car for yourself. And so you have 20 days, which is quite a lot. And yeah, for honeymoon, what's our main focus when we do our honeymoon itineraries? Okay, we try to find some activities which are great to do at two people, and some places as well you can visit where you don't necessarily have to hang out with a lot of people as well. You also want just one-on-one kind of place to do. So when we think about hot pools, we will recommend places where you can actually get your own like separate hot pools for yourself, and just those kind of more romantic activities.
Yeah.
All right, Laura, do you want to give a bit of an introduction while I load the stuff?
All right, so yeah, with 20 days in New Zealand, you'll definitely have enough time to explore both islands, which is, really awesome. And yeah, so on a honeymoon itinerary, you'll definitely, and with adventure as well, you'll definitely have a lot of options in every single destination that we talk about. We're going to give you a few sort of activities that you can do in each of the places, and yeah, and also there's a lot of free things to do in New Zealand as well. So you don't necessarily have to spend money every day. There's a lot of really amazing landscapes and walks you can be doing which are free. So that's always the good thing about traveling on a budget, is that you could always do hikes and see things for free.
All right, so you're going to be arriving in Auckland. I'm just going to give all the towns right now, and then we'll give you some information on each of them.
Left hand.
Oh, harder. We changed. I don't know if you noticed, guys, but we changed the way we're doing things a little bit.
Maybe we need to change them back.
Okay, cool. Then we have Hahe in the Coromandel.
Okay. Oh, that's over here.
Rotorua. Oh, you're already getting better. Wow.
Oh my God! I'm so sorry. I cannot. This is very, very
Taupo and Tongariro.
Oh man! Control that hand. This is
So as you guys can tell, Laura usually is right-handed, and doing things with her left hand is quite hilarious. Then yeah, that's Taupo Tongariro as well. Wellington.
Okay.
Abel Tasman. Kaikoura. Lake Tekapo.
Lake Tekapo's around here somewhere.
Mount Cook. Araki Mount Cook. Yep. That's hilarious to write that. Milford Sound. And then Queenstown. All right. So we're going to change color as well. And yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about all those places and why you should go there on a honeymoon trip in a budget. So first up, Auckland. So you're going to be arriving in Auckland, and that's where most people land. The reason why you're arriving there on a budget is because that's the cheapest place to land to, usually with international flights. Now, Auckland is a pretty expensive city to live in, but as a tourist, there is a lot to do there, and there's plenty of really awesome things that you can do as a couple that still are not too expensive. So for example, you can take a ferry to an island called Waiheke Island. So Waiheke Island is probably one of the largest islands on the Hauraki Gulf. It's not the largest, but it's one of the largest, and they do a lot of wine there. So it's a really kind of a great place to go for basically a date. So first up, you have a lovely cruise through the Hauraki Gulf that will take you over there. And then after, if you are on a budget, you can rent bike or take a bus ticket that goes around the different vineyards, and you go and you can sample a lot of wines. In every cellar as you arrive, you always have one or two free samples. They get you to taste the wine and see those things, and you decide whatever bottles you want to buy. You can also just buy yourself a glass of wine as you go, and you can have a lovely, awesome date for 2 people, including the food, because at some point you're going to need some food since you're drinking so much and everything. So you can keep that well under the $150, which is pretty awesome. So you have a cruise. We tried a lot of wine. The views are fantastic, and yeah, it's a pretty awesome thing to do. In Auckland also, it's a really nice city, so there is plenty of couple of things to do. There's some great cafes and everything, so it's a great place since you're coming for 20 days to kind of take some time and relax from the jet lag.
Yeah.
If you want to go on a date as well, you can go all the way up to the Sky Tower, and from there you have a whole view of the whole city, which is pretty awesome. But there is also something called the Orbit Restaurant, which is a restaurant that kind of turns around the tower. So as you dine, you get to see more of the views around. It's really, really awesome. You can also go to Mount Eden, which is great to watch the sunset or sunrise. I think
both are good from there. Yeah.
So you can get those awesome views. So you have the whole skyline, you can see the sun kind of lighting the whole city. It's really romantic and really awesome. If you're really into the wildlife, you can also go check out an island called Tiri Matangi Island, which has plenty of really awesome native birds. And you can also go to a place called Rangitoto Island. So same thing, all of those are taking the ferries to go to places, but it's pretty cheap to do so, especially Rangitoto Island. You go all the way on top of a volcano. It's about an hour walk. You see lava field, lava caves, you see the crater of the volcano, and on top of that you see the whole Auckland skyline. So those are really, really awesome. And if you do have some spare money on your budget, you can go check out some dolphins in the Auckland whale watching and dolphin cruise, which is really awesome as well.
Yeah.
So all that is kind of like romantic stuff. Plenty of restaurants as well. There's some really awesome desserts places as well. So if you kind of eat on the budget and everything, but you want to go treat yourself to like a dessert, like a romantic dessert, there is Oko, I think, OKO, if you want to check that out. They do some absolutely scrumptiously delicious desserts full of indulgent chocolate.
Yeah.
Yum. Okay, then you're moving on to Hahe, which is in the Coromandel Peninsula.
Okay, so in the Coromandel, that is known for its beaches. So although it sounds quite cliche, you can take some long romantic walks on the beach. A really famous beach there is Cathedral Cove, which is known for its beautiful sort of white cliffs and archways. There's kayaking tours. If you want to have a little bit of adventure there, you can do a kayaking tour around the area, which takes you to a few caves that a lot of tourists don't really get to see if they're only just taking the walk to the beach. They won't be able to access some of the caves that you can get to by kayak, which is really cool. There's also a really famous beach there called Hot Water Beach. So when the tide goes out, there's a sweet spot on the beach where you can dig yourself a hole and some water from a hot water spring rises to the surface. And you mix that with the seawater that comes in, and you have yourself your own hot pool. So you and your hubby can have a private hot pool experience on the beach. Well, when I say private hot pool, you'll probably be surrounded by a lot of people, because it is a very busy hotspot. But I mean, you'll have your own little
homemade jacuzzi
there. Yeah, so that's really cool as
also,
well.
he just decided to marry you, so make him work to build your jacuzzi on the beach. Come on, he take the shovel and you just watch him.
Yeah.
All right, then we're moving on to the Taupo area over there.
Rotorua is next.
Oh, sorry, Rotorua. Sorry about that. All right, so you're moving on to Rotorua. Now, Rotorua is great for an evening Maori cultural experience. It's really fun as a couple to learn about different customs from different cultures, about even just about relationship and all of that. So it's really awesome. The food is delicious and the show is really, really fun as well. And you can compare your new husband to the Maori warriors, which is going to be having to face. So it's fun, and you can see if he's up for the task.
Yeah.
So trial him. So yes, that's really fun. There's also some really amazing hot pools, like the Polynesian Spa, where you can actually have your own private hot pools, which is really awesome. You also have some mud pools, which are really cool. There's some beautiful geothermal park, like Weotapu. They have Champagne Pool, which is really gorgeous. It's some amazing places to visit, and all of those things are not too expensive, so they're pretty reasonably priced.
Yeah.
And then we're moving on to Taupo, which also has some hot pool as well.
Yeah. So Taupo is on the edge of New Zealand's largest lake, called Lake Taupo. And in terms of budget activities there are a lot of, there's a free hot springs there at Spa Park. So you can go and just sort of feel the geothermal hot pools there, which is really cool. There's walks alongside the Waikato River or alongside the lake, which you can go and check out. But as you mentioned that you also like to do adventure activities, and there's certainly a lot of adventure activities in Taupo, but this is obviously where the price of activities goes up a bit. You can do bungee jumping there, which is really awesome. You can do skydiving over New Zealand's largest lake.
Which is the cheapest in the country.
Okay, well there, yeah.
Cheapest if you want to do some adventure and want to do a skydive, you skydive above the beautiful mountain, the volcano, the New Zealand's largest lake, and it's the cheapest in the country. So,
yeah,
that's pretty epic.
And with the bungee jumping in Taupo, you can do it tandem. So both you and your husband can go together and do the bungee jump together, which is like a really awesome experience. And yeah, there's also mountain biking. If you're into mountain biking, there's mountain bike parks you can check out. Tongariro river rafting.
Yeah,
is that what you mean?
Yeah, the hike.
Oh, the Tongariro crossing. Yeah. So yeah.
It's the most popular hike in the country.
Yeah. So also there's shuttles to take you to the Tongariro crossing, which is New Zealand's most popular day hike, taking you over amazing volcanoes. So that's a really cool adventure that you can share together. And
that's a lot to do.
That's quite the list. I'm sure you'll find something there.
Then you have your longest drive to drive all the way down to Wellington. Wellington is a really nice little city. They call it they call it the world's coolest capital city. So there is plenty of quaint little cafes, little nice eateries which are fun. There is the Tekapo Museum, which is an amazing museum, seriously fantastic museum, and it's free to go to, so that's quite awesome. But most importantly, you're going to be taking the boat, the big ferry, to go all the way to the South Island. It's an amazing cruise, especially if you can do it at sunrise. So time your time well and do it at sunrise. It is phenomenal. And sunset as well, actually. Just don't do it in the middle of the day. But yeah, it's really, really awesome. And then you're going to arrive in Picton and also the Abel Tasman kind of national park right here. It's a beautiful place with golden sand beaches.
Yeah, so Abel Tasman, like Robin said, is famous for its golden sand beaches, and you can experience it in a number of ways. There's sailing tours, there's kayaking tours if you want to experience.
Great for couple kayaking.
Yeah, if you want to experience it from the water, and yeah, also the kayaking tours. If you get in a double kayak, it is a true test of your relationship if you can work together or not, or get completely on each other's nerves. So yeah, that we have experience in that. It's usually quite a funny experience getting in a double kayak. But
depends who's in front, basically.
Yeah, you need to plan who sits where very well. So yeah, kayaking on the water is always a really good experience in Abel Tasman. But if you do want to stick to dry land, there is the Abel Tasman Coastal Track, which is one of New Zealand's great walks. It's a multi-day hike. I think the complete hike is about 4 to 5 days, but you can shorten that to 2 or 3 days. Definitely. There's water taxis that pick up at various points along the trail, so they can pick you up anywhere, pretty much, well, not anywhere along the way, but most beaches along the way. And yeah, that's basically an epic way to do your romantic walks on the beach at an epic scale, because it'll be a multi-day hike. And yeah, it's just a really good way to embrace some amazing scenery.
All right, so then we are sending you that way. So you notice that it's really different. Most people go that way around the island, but we like to send you this way just because like that you will counter current and you get less people on the road, basically.
Yeah.
So we're sending you to Kaikoura. Kaikoura is the wildlife mecca of New Zealand. Beautiful seals and seal pup. You can swim with them. It's really amazing. You also have amazing whale watching. One of the most romantic things to do is to take a wings over whale. So it's a kind of a plane to go above all the whales and everything like that. It's a little bit pricey, but it's definitely worth the money.
Well, actually, the flights are very similar price to the boat tours. So whichever you prefer, you can either go on the water or you can take a flight, and it will be around the same price.
Boom. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's really phenomenal. Kaikoura is definitely a place to go to, but probably the most romantic place in the country, number one romantic place in the country, is our next one, which is Lake Tekapo.
Yeah, so I guess the reason why it's probably a more romantic place to go is because of the scenery. It's just a beautiful setting for your honeymoon, with its beautiful blue waters of the lake, surrounded by mountains. You can go to the Lake Tekapo hot pools there, just relax and sort of take in the amazing views. There's also stargazing tours, which again, stargazing's pretty romantic, right? So they do stargazing tours to the Mount John Observatory, which is this big, well, basically observatory with big dome telescopes and really powerful telescopes. And you sort of take a tour with astronomers, is that the right word? I have been known to get that wrong. And yeah, they basically can show you all the star constellations and show you some of the best places to see the night sky, because Lake Tekapo is within a dark sky reserve, which is really awesome. And we do have a video on that experience on YouTube. So if you just type in stargazing Lake Tekapo, Backpacker Guide, you should be able to find our video pretty easily.
There you go. Next up, we're going to Mount Cook. Mount Cook, something super famous for amazing stargazing. You are right under New Zealand's tallest mountain. It's some phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal views and sceneries. It's just indescribable. If you feel like doing a glacier walk, you know, that's those helicopter that lands on the glacier and you get to do a walk there and everything. One of the cheapest in the country is the one there. It's on the Tasman Glacier, which is the largest glacier in the country, and it's pretty much an intimate experience because it's much less known. I mean, we keep on talking about them, so maybe it's going to be super known, but it's much less known, so the group size are usually much smaller, so you get those icy blue caves, and it's really, really awesome.
Yeah.
So it's an amazing place to go to. And then after, you have another kind of a bit of a long drive, but we're going all the way to Milford Sound.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. And Milford Sound.
Yeah, Milford Sound is a destination that most people have heard of who are coming to New Zealand. It's described as the 8th wonder of the world and all that sort of good stuff. And it's basically a big fjord with towering mountains that have been carved by glaciers. And it's where it's on the coast, it's where the sea comes in. So there are boat tours and cruises to sort of give you an amazing scenic cruise around Milford Sound. But so the cruises themselves are very reasonably priced. They're between $40 to, it depends what type of cruise you go on, but maybe $40 to about $100 or something. So yeah, they're usually pretty affordable, but alternatively, there's walks you can do around Milford Sound, and even on the road to Milford Sound, there's lots of different hikes you can be doing. And definitely with 20 days in your itinerary, you can definitely take your time getting down there. There's campsites, there's a place called Guns Camp and Milford Lodge. Both of them are sort of the only accommodations in the area, so they will need to be booked way in advance because they're obviously very popular. But if you do manage to get a spot there, then it's definitely worth staying down there and sort of really embracing the amazing landscapes around there. There's beautiful forest and things, lots of forest walks to do around there, places called the Chasm, the Mirror Lakes walk, for instance. So yeah, we could go on for ages about the amount of stuff that you can do in Milford Sound, but you can just go on BackpackerGuide.NZ, search Milford Sound, and we have articles on all the walks there and all the must-dos and all the things to do. So definitely just go and check that out and see what is best for you.
Laura, definitely like this place.
Yeah.
So if you don't feel like doing the whole drive down that way, you can actually base yourself in Queenstown and do it from Queenstown if you want to, because we recommend then you are spending some time in Queenstown. So just finish your trip in Queenstown. The reason why we want you to finish your trip in Queenstown, before we talk about things to do, is that we think you should be flying all the way to Auckland. That will save you a ton of money on gas, that will save you a ton of money on time that you need to rent the car to go up there. So if you finish in Queenstown and flight, it's much easier. If you book your flight early enough, you can have it for about $50. It can be that cheap. So that's a great idea. Now in Queenstown, there is so much to do there. Amazing food as well, plenty of eateries and cafes and everything, so you can go on date night. You're on the shore of a beautiful lake called Lake Wakatipu, which has phenomenal views and adventure activities. You get bungee, you get luge, you get canyoning, you get skydiving, you get climbing, you get paragliding, you get whitewater rafting. You get so much to do there. You're basically going to be overwhelmed with choice. You're going to be like, okay, do I do whitewater rafting? Do I do jet boating? Or do I do canyoning today? And you're just going to have so much to do right here. And so it's an amazing place to spend time in if you're into adrenaline. And I think it's going to be a great way to kind of finish your trip in New Zealand on the bank. So this is the place where we think you should finish your tour. So here you go. that's our adventure honeymoon itinerary on a budget. Again, we try to stick to about the budget that you had, and so for about 6,500 New Zealand dollars, you'll be able to afford all those activities, accommodation, and food. And rent yourself a car, book your plane ticket on top of that budget, and have a blast in New Zealand. If you did find that useful, make sure to like and subscribe. We do have all of those tips and all of those itineraries actually on BackpackerGuide.NZ. So it's www.BackpackerGuide.NZ. And then you click on travel tips and then itinerary sample. And there's a ton of them right here. And make sure to like and subscribe to say thank you for all our hard work.